I recently purchased an obsolete banknote that is quickly becoming one of my favorite notes that I own in my entire collection. It is a $500 denomination note.
What? You're dreaming. 500.
From the State Bank of New Brunswick, New Jersey. Now, there are examples of this exact note for sale on platforms like eBay, for example, but all of those notes are remainder notes, meaning they were never issued. One of the primary reasons why I love this note so much is that it is not a remainder note. This note was actually issued. Let's take a better look. All right, this is a high-res scan of that note. I did not do any color correction or contrast or anything like that to this scan. I literally scanned it and uploaded it into iMovie. So as you can see, this is a $500 denomination note from the State Bank of New Brunswick, New Jersey. The first thing I noticed when I first saw this note was the very impressive D underprint indicating the Roman numeral for 500 in either dark blue or purple. And as I mentioned earlier, this is not a remainder note. This note was actually dated and signed and ostensibly released as currency. So it is dated May 1st, 1862. It is signed by the cashier and the president of the bank. The note itself was printed by Rawdon, Wright, Hatch, and Edison of New York. On the left, we have a portrait vignette of George Washington. On the right is a portrait vignette of a pretty girl. And above the bank name is a vignette of two women flanking a shield with a horse head on top of it. That vignette specifically is very common when it comes to New Brunswick obsolete notes. It's on almost every one I've seen, so they use that vignette a lot, not only in New Brunswick, but I believe in New Jersey and the region in general. Here is a close-up of those signatures. Unfortunately, I have been unable to identify the cashier or the president, and I'm also not sure what bank this turned into during the charter period. So in New Brunswick, there were 3 banks that received charter numbers. The First National Bank, the National Bank of New Jersey, and the People's National Bank. All of the signatures of the cashier and the presidents from those 3 banks do not seem to match up to these signatures. So not exactly sure what bank this turned into, if it even did, in 1864 when the banks got chartered. I was also unable to find really any information regarding the State Bank of New Brunswick other than images of the notes themselves, online at least. So I definitely have to do a lot more research regarding this note and this bank in general. Here's the back of the note. Very intricate design with the pink, red coloring. This was done for anti-counterfeiting measures. And a close-up of the design here, kind of a floral pattern. Looks very nice. And just in case you were curious, according to some random inflation calculator online, $500 in 1862 is worth $15,914.11 today. So now what I have to decide is whether or not to get this note graded. I have a love-hate relationship with grading my own notes. I have no problem purchasing graded notes. I actually prefer it depending on the note. But when it comes to raw notes that I own and sending them out to get graded, you saw from the scan It looks like it's in relatively good shape or good condition, considering it's not a remainder note. This thing was actually issued and ostensibly circulated as currency. But I have a feeling, and I have a fear maybe, that the good people at PMG or PCGS banknote, whoever I decide to get it graded at, will find something that I overlooked and ding the grade. The last thing I want is for this note to come back with a poor grade or a grade that really doesn't live up to the eye appeal and the just looking at the raw note grade, if that makes sense. So I've had it for about a month or so. I've been debating whether or not I want to get it graded. I kind of don't want to get it graded, but at the same time, I would love to see what it would be graded at. So not sure what I'm going to do, but I love the fact that I have it in my collection. It's a great note. Thanks for watching these videos. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to the channel. You can like this video. And as always, comment as you see fit.